Everybody, it's Andrew Brown from the AWS Cloud Project Bootcamp bringing you another video, and this time we are going to finally resolve that expired session token because it just has been driving me crazy and we should just go ahead and solve it. So the issue here is that when we make API requests, sometimes our Cognito token expires. And what makes that a little bit unusual to me, or not unusual, but it's just how it works, is the fact that when we, if we go to our API call in our source, did we put in our lib here? Yes. So when we do this check auth, this thing here does not attempt to renew our token. I thought it would, but it doesn't. So what we'll have to do is wrap this in another function in order to make sure that it gets set. So let's go take a look at Amplify and say amplify refresh token Cognito, because that'll be the easiest way to find it. ChatGPT probably won't be very useful to do that, but let's go ask it anyway to see what it thinks will happen. So how do I refresh a token for Cognito using the Amplify JS? And let's see what it says. So there is this auth refresh token, but I don't think that's what we want. So this is the current authenticated user which we're using. So there is this method. So auth refresh session. I suppose we could do it that way. That's not what I was thinking. But let's go take a look here and see what we can do over here. So we'll look for refresh, token refresh. So by default, Amplify will automatically refresh the tokens for Google and Facebook. No, that's not what we're looking for here. But if you're using another federated provider, you'll need to provide your own refresh token. That's not what I was thinking. I'm just thinking for Cognito. So let's go up here. This is identity pool federation. So let me just think where this might be. How about sign up, sign in here? So let's look for refresh here. Amazon Cognito now supports token revocation. Will revoke tokens if application is online. This means refresh token cannot be used anymore to generate new access and ID tokens. That's fine. Global sign out, that's fine. I'm looking for the refresh. And I know it's like session something. So it is something similar to this, but it's not called refresh session. Auth events? Nope. Password management? Current session. So this is what will refresh it. So retrieve the current session. And so if we are to call that, this method will automatically refresh the access token ID. So if the tokens are expired and add a refresh token presented, you can use this method to refresh the token if necessary. So this is what I was thinking in order to do that. But if there is a function called refresh token, I wouldn't mind doing that as well, because that would technically work. So let's take a look here and see if that actually does exist. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see if we can find that here for Amplify. Use the current session to get the current valid token. Here's what I learned. So this is 2019, so this is a few years back, but get the current valid token or get it if the new current has expired. Amplify will handle it. As a fallback, use some interval job refresh tokens on demand X minutes. This is required when you have long running processes like uploading a large video. So the thing is that this one we're not too worried about, but like this, having it pull randomly and do that, I think what I'd rather do is just have the current session or refresh token. But over here, what we can see here is current authenticated user, and then it awaits this, and then if that's the case, it'll refresh the token. But they say that if you call this automatically, it should already refresh it. So are we using current authenticated user? We are there. Okay. So how do we want to do this? I'm just trying to decide here, because apparently if we already call current user, current session. It's already going to do it. To modify your session token if necessary. I'm just trying to think here, because even if we do that, we still have to set the access token, right? So if we go back over here, there is an access token that gets set somewhere, right? When we log in. And so I'd imagine that we would have to, well, probably not, right? Because you don't have to replace that, do you? That's a good question. So what I'll do is go over to the sign-in page here. If we scroll on down, so we have sign-in user session, access token, JWT token. So, I mean, I'm thinking that if we look up the user session, we would get that access token, right? And then we'd have to set it again. So maybe what we should do is call the current. I don't think I'm going to call refresh. While it might still work, I think I'd rather do the current. Just because that's what the documentation is saying. Maybe the documentation is wrong, but we'll just try this here. So here we see check auth token, current authenticated user. And then we have this user here, and this returns that. So I'm just trying to understand what is going on here. So we'll console out the user. Why do we call this twice? Why wouldn't we pass the user along to the next one? That seems a bit redundant here. Seems like we're doing double calls, no? Anyway, what we'll do is go over here to our website. We'll get it running, and we'll take a look here. I'm just wondering if this is a mistake and I should have been passing user all along here, because that would kind of make sense. But it would have to be wrapped in a promise. So I guess the thing is that this returns a promise, right? Good question. I don't remember. So what we'll do is we'll do compose up, and we'll get our stuff running here. While that is happening, that's getting going there, I guess we'll have to run our scripts. So just give it a second. So I'll be back here when this is all running, okay? And just so you see here, this didn't work because I forgot to log into, what do you call it? Into ECR, right? Because if we're not logged in ECR, it's not going to work if we do Docker compose up. So I'll go back here and do Docker compose up, and I think it should work this time. So we'll give that a go, okay? All right, so this appears up. So what I'm gonna do is get to seeding my data. So we'll go to a different tab over here. We're gonna do bin db, and we'll do setup. We'll get that all set up. So that should work in pretty good shape there. I don't see any errors, looks all good to me. We'll go to bin ddb schema load. And then after that is done, we will seed our data. Okay, and so we are getting into better shape here. All right, so now the next thing is, what do we want to do? We want to go make sure the app is working. So I'll go over here and go over to port 3000, and it's not working. Of course it's not. Unless there's just no data, but there should be something. So I'll go ahead and inspect. Maybe one of my environment variables is set incorrectly here. And we'll refresh here, and we'll go over to this tab here, and we are getting response, so data is coming back. Okay, so that was superficial. I guess we just had to wait a moment for it to warm up, maybe, I don't know. But I guess the idea here is we need to log in. So we'll sign in. Into our application here. And so now we are signed in. I'm going to go ahead and inspect this. And so we only have this returned once, which is great. So we have the Cognito user here. And I just kind of want to go around and kind of inspect as to why I did it the way I did it. Because this looks like we're calling it twice. So is this the same thing? There probably was a reason why I did that, but I don't know. Well, I guess we'll investigate and see why I called that twice. Unless I meant to call current session before and solve that issue, that could have been the reason why, but I don't know. So we'll give this a hard refresh. We'll take a look here and see what is being logged out now. User is not defined. That totally is acceptable because we did not do that correctly. So I'll go ahead and say allow. Oops, it didn't do what I wanted to do. I'll cut that out and I'll paste that in there. We'll go ahead and save it. We'll give it a refresh. Okay. And I didn't mean to drag that into screen. I meant to drag this into screen. But anyway, what we can see here is the identical data. So basically what's going on here is I'm calling this twice. And that doesn't make sense. We don't want to call that twice. What we really want to do here is call that other one. And so that's what I think that I had meant to do. Now looking at it there. That makes sense to me. So we will go over to here and say get the current session, and then we'll have to see what data it actually grabs since I'm not 100% sure. So we'll go here and we'll go ahead and paste that in as such. And then it makes sense that this user might be something else. So I don't know what it's going to log out here, and so this might muck everything up, but we'll find out here in a moment, okay? So what we'll do is go back over to our page here, and we'll give a hard refresh. We'll check our inspector, and our data is different, right? So down below here, we have our access token, our ID token, different stuff. So we're not going to have the same information as we do here. And so this stuff makes sense to set up here. But for this step, what we want to do is reset that access token. I assume that's what we want to do in case it has changed. So I'm going to go here and copy, go down below here and paste this in. And then we'll take a look at what this is. So this is actually Cognito user session, and the top one there is Cognito user. So I'm just going to name this appropriately. And then we just need to see where we can grab that token. So what I'm going to do here is open this up, and we're looking for that JWT. It's access token JWT. And so we just need to take this part out here. And so that should resolve our issue. This is not easy for us to debug per se, because we'd have to have some way to expire that token manually. I'm not 100% sure how to do that. Maybe Baker knows how to do it. But anyway, I think that will be our fix. And so that was actually really easy. Let's just make sure that still works and it's not causing us any issues here. So I'm going to go back here, refresh. Make sure we don't have any 500s. No, that looks fine to me. It's not showing us signed in, though. That's a little bit funny. Because we are setting the user. It's just at a different step. Let's go here. That's a bit off, right? So we'll go here, sign in. Capital T, testing 1, 2, 3, exclamation mark. I thought it was going to be super easy, but apparently not so much. Okay, so what is our issue? Over here it says Cognito user is undefined, so we apparently still have a problem. I mean, those look fine to me. Oh, up here it says Cognito user, and I guess it actually is the Cognito user, so I'm going to go ahead here and paste that in. So that makes sense that it wasn't doing that, so I'll go that, and that's a little bit more accurate to what is actually happening. We're going to give that a hard refresh here, and now we are properly logged in. So this should be the fix that we need. For this part, for when we are doing the check auth. However, we need to also do this every time we call an API call to make sure that our token is fresh. Because if we don't, well, it could time out. Like we could just be sitting on this page forever, and then when we go to do an HTTP request, it could time out again. So we have two options. We can periodically check, or we can wrap this every time we make an HTTP request, which is a bit unfortunate because that means that we'll do this and we'll do that again. It seems like a lot of unnecessary checks, but I think that's just how it works. So what we need to do is have a way to fix that. So let's go take a look at how we actually do API calls. And so here we have load data, and it's doing this thing here. where it's passing along the bearer token. So I'm just trying to think here. At this point is where we are getting that data. So I think what I would do is make a new function here and say constant get token, get access token. And so then if we do this, then this will be how we go about fixing this issue. So I'll go here and we'll just say async. Does it need to be async? Well, we're doing async functions down here. I mean, I guess we do. Yeah. And I'm just trying to think here. Well, anyway, we'll just start writing. I just get mixed up when we're looking at asynchronous functions because, I don't know, no matter how much I do of it, I just don't ever get any better at it. So we'll just type in async here and we will pass it some kind of, we actually don't have to pass it any value. We just want to get back the access token. And so here we can see we get it via local storage like this. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that there like that. And we will also want to now, well, why is it giving me a complaint here? Something syntactically it does not like. Oh, we're forgetting the equals here. Okay, great. And so what we want to do is we want to make that call to the current session, right? So something similar to what we're doing up there. So we'll go ahead and go copy here. And we'll paste that in. Current session. Can we call it without using async? I don't think we can. I mean, we have this, which is a lot simpler and easy to look at. So maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. Well, I guess it's the same thing, actually. But we'll go ahead and paste that in. And so if that first one that one happens, it'll be an error. But this is what we want to focus on is this part here. So we will go and give this a curly. And then give this a curly. Whoops. Give this a curly. Fix that indentation. This then should appear over here. And so now what we're doing is grabbing basically this code because that's what it's doing. Right, and so that's going to set the local item storage. And then really what we want to do is we want to return that value, which is that right there. Why does that look funny to me? Probably because we need to do this. No. We do this, and then it's dot, and then actually it's just dot, right? Like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that looks correct now. And we could even put this on the same line if we want to. I'm going to keep it down a line. And so I just can't remember because, you know, I always forget, like, well, this block, and then after here, we should do the returns after here. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do here, just to make sure that we understand this, and I guess what we would do is be using an await on this because that is an async function. So I'm going to take this part out, and we are going to say constant, and we want the access token. So I'll say access token here, and we'll type await, and this will be for get access token, parentheses, and then down below here, we'll do access token. And then I'll just console log out here and just make sure that we do get our access token here. And we'll do access token. And so that should be what we want to happen there, I believe. Yeah. And I mean, in this case, this would log out. It wouldn't return anything, right? So, you know, that shouldn't do anything there. But I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I need to do. Oh, right. We need to actually import this. So we'll go to the top here, and we will then do this here, and we'll do a get access token. And we have a default on here, so I'll take the default out of that. And that should possibly resolve that issue. Unexpected curly. It's suggesting that we are missing something here. And I'm sure it wants some semicolon. Well, we don't really have to do the semicolon, but that is that one there, so that makes sense. That one's there. That seems okay. I don't know. Sometimes when we have multiples, maybe you have to do this. I'm getting mixed up because I work with a lot of different languages, so I sometimes can't remember what it is that we have to do. So it's just curly's around there. And so then we can get the access token that way. Let's see if that works. And I'm just going to indicate this a bit different. I'm just going to put an X in the front of this. So I just know that it's a different call because we're going to see that call twice, right? So we'll go ahead and give this a refresh. It says check auth is not a function. For what? I guess for all the other ones, right? Because we have to probably update all the other instances because that was the default import. And so usually you wrap in curlies, I think there. So is it telling us where that is happening? No, it's not. Feed page. I'd like to know where this is happening. So libcheck webath check auth is not a function. Give me a second to figure this out, okay? Yeah, I'm not sure. This error is not very helpful, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the other ones and just make sure that they are using that newer syntax because that's all I can think of to solve that issue. So what we'll do is go into our source and we will go into our pages here and we'll just take a look. So this is the confirmation page. Oh, that's the CS. I want the JS. And so we'll just have to keep clicking through. So that one's fine. This one uses check auth, so let's do this. We'll go into our next one here. This uses check auth, so we'll do that. I suppose we could just search for all the instances. I just don't have a lot of confidence because, again, I use Vim and not Visual Studio Code day to day. So for me, I just don't ever have the confidence to use the files. So we'll say find in files, and we'll say import check auth, and see all the instances that show up. Was that it? Are we sure there's not more? Maybe that was it. Okay. Give that a refresh. Yeah, I don't know. Give me a second, okay? Oh, you know what it probably is? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's coming back to me. We probably need to put export in front of these, right? So, like we probably have to do like export. How do we do this? Because we're assigning them to const. I forget. Export two functions in JavaScript. I don't know why I forgot, but yeah, so that's what I want to do, but we actually assign it to this variable name here, but it has async. So let's just say make them async. Okay, that's enough. Make the functions async. And that's what's throwing me off is that async part. Okay, so that's all we need to do. So export async function. Well, we don't need to put the word function, I don't think. So export async. Like that. Well, we can put the word function. I personally prefer that syntax over the arrows, to be honest. What am I doing wrong? Am I spelling async wrong? Oh, function goes on the left. Yeah, of course. It's okay if you can't remember stuff. Like me, it's just important that you're able to get through it, right? So there's just too much out there to learn. So we'll say async. function. We'll do this. And so that's going to resolve our issue. Pretty confident it will. And we would have had to update all those other ones anyway. We'll go over here. We'll see what's happening. So we have Cognito user. And then we have X Cognito user session. This one's from the first one. It's just the timing of execution. And so it's doing that. It's refreshing the token in both cases. But the big problem here is this access token is showing up as undefined. We don't want that to happen. We want this to actually be something. So clearly we are doing something wrong here. And I mean, this is doing a get, but this is doing a set. So why wouldn't that return something? So I'm just going to go here and whoops, that's not what I want to do. I'm just going to do a console log on this part here. I'll just put something here like 1, 1 or 2, 2. And then here we want to console log out just this part of it. Console log. Here, because maybe it's just calling it too fast. I don't know why that'd be a problem, but maybe that is our issue there. And so we'll see if that fixes our problem. Or at least we'll just know to pass that along as opposed to getting it immediately from the local storage. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not being set. It just means that it might be too quick for it to grab it. So going here, 1, 1, 2, 2 is showing the same thing. So no issues there. The access token still is undefined. So to me, that makes me think that it has something to do with stupid promises. Now, I know I cover promises in my cloud computing course, so I'm going to go take a look at that. My cloud programming course, which I have not yet released because I'm doing this boot camp. In the future, it'll be released. And so in that's where I'll go to my examples. So over here in my examples, I'll go there and look for promises. Promises should be in here. I'm just trying to remember, because I have to normalize all the information. It's not where you'd expect it to be. This would be under async sync stuff. And we'll go into our JavaScript. And we will go take a look at an example. So I'm just going to look. Oh, this is Java. I want JavaScript. It shows Java. I want, I say node. And so in here we have a promise. There's an example. So this is where we actually create a promise. Okay, so that is fine. Use this open bin example, HTTP open bin for all of them, which is pretty nice. Async await. So we await for it. Yeah, it's not clicking for me, so just give me a second to play around, okay? All right, so I'm just awful at promises. Even though I've written tutorials on it, apparently I need to go brush up on it because I can't remember or make sense of how this is supposed to work. So I'm just trying to think of another way to get this to work without having to, figure out JavaScript here. But I do know that this await, well, actually, this might actually work because I didn't put an await in front of here. So let me just take a look here and see if this works. And I'll just double check this as a last resort. No, so I still get undefined. So what I'm going to do here is, I know we want this to await for sure. I'm just not going to return a result. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this part here and console log it out and just make sure that it's working correctly. Okay, so I'm going to just say console log. And, well, I mean, we can just say access token here. If you know promises better than me, please tell me a more elegant solution. But I'm just going to go here and do access token as such. And we'll just do 1, 1 here. Or 2, 2. And I'm going to go back up to here. And I'm just going to go and just grab the access token like this here, access token. Okay, and we're just not going to return anything. And we'll see if they're the same. If they're the same, then I know it's setting this one with that one, and that's good enough for me, okay? So give a refresh to that, and we'll see what we get. Access token not defined. That is totally understandable. We should put a const in front there, and then a const in front of here. I'm just used to working in CoffeeScript, which does not require you to do all that stuff. We'll give this a nice refresh here, and so that is showing up, which is fine. I'm going to look at 1.1 and 2.2, and they are identical. Yeah, they're identical. So that is my fix. Is it a good fix? I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying that's what I'm going to do for that, okay? So what we'll do here is just take out these console logs here. And it would be nice if there was a nicer way to clean this up, but I'm not going to. We're just going to, I just mean like if there's another way we could refactor this further, I just don't want to complicate our code further. So now what we need to do is just get this into everything. So I'm going to do a search here. So let's say edit, and we'll say find in files. And I'm looking for set item access token, because there are a few places where we set this. Or if it's not that, we can just look up authorization, because that is also where it would show up. Authorization. And so now we're starting to see a lot more of those, which is better. So I'll just click into here, and we'll go to the top here, and we will import our fellow. And it says check auth, but you know, that's just the naming of it now. So I'll go here and say get access token. And then we will go down to the appropriate area, which is here. And we will go grab these two lines, paste that in, and we will then replace that bearer line as such. While we're here, we might as well just try to stay with convention here. Yeah, there we go. The reason we have, I mean, we don't need it on every single one, but this one here has a hyphen in it, so this one needs single quotations. These ones don't, but we'll just try to be consistent with what we have here. This one's okay. So that was the message forms page. We'll go to here. That one was what we just updated. We'll go to here, and we will go ahead and grab these two lines, and we will go ahead and paste that in. And then we'll go paste that in like that. And we need to have this line instead here. We want to import both here. We'll go into our message groups. Might as well just start at the top. And we will go ahead and grab that. We'll go down to where our authorization call is. There's two in this file, so we just got to be careful we grab both of them. And we will go ahead and grab these two lines here. And we will paste it above as such. And then we will go grab our access token here. Paste that in here. We'll go here. Do something very similar. So we'll go here, grab these two lines, copy, paste. Paste that in here like that. That was the second one. And then we just have this one more here. Now, we need to probably keep doing access token in a lot of other places, possibly. I'm not sure if we've protected all of our endpoints. If we don't do it in this video, of course, we will do it at some point in the future. This will just be kind of cleanup videos. And that's what this video is. It's just to clean up some things that have been bothering me for a while, since I figured we could just squeeze them in now. But hopefully it doesn't create too much stress for folks this week. So I'll go here and paste in the check auth up here. And we'll go down below and we will grab these two lines. We'll say copy. Above here. Paste. You don't want to have that O in there like me. That's just wrong. We'll clear that out. And we'll say access token. So hopefully we updated those all correctly. Now, if I had more time, what I would be doing is probably refactoring all of this into a simpler function, because I don't really like having to use fetch like this. I like to be writing quite less code than what we're doing here. But that's just how it is. We will worry about refactoring later down the road. I'll go here and we'll just say, well, before we do, let's just make sure everything's working still. So that is in good working order. We'll go ahead and inspect. This seems fine. Let's click around here. Notifications is like this because we just haven't hooked up all the logical code there. Messages should be fine as well. This shows up blank because we don't have any messages. We've been talking to anybody here. But yeah, we are in good shape. So yeah, I keep thinking, like, are we not supposed to see a message group here in our seed data? There's no errors. We'll come back to that. But anyway, now we have that issue resolved and we don't have to worry about our tokens expiring. So fix expiring token. So yeah, there you go. And we will see you in the next one. Ciao.